How did I move my huge blueberry plants from whiskey berry planters to a raised bed? Hi, I'm Lannie, also known as Vego Garden, one of the pro gardeners here at Vego Garden. In this video, I want to walk you through the step-by-step process I followed when I swapped out my whiskey berry planters for a Vego Garden raised bed. Before I show you how, I want to talk about the why. I have three reasons. One, I wanted to consolidate the area where I am growing them to make it more efficient for me to protect them from birds. Last year, they ate most of my blueberries, so I want to change that this year. I think I can come up with a better way to cover the raised bed with a netting instead of wrapping the fruits with so many organza bags, which was a lot of work. The second reason is because I really wanted to boost the production of my blueberries. I wasn't very happy with the amount of blueberries I harvested last year, and I want to change that this year. Raised beds offer more room to grow for blueberry shrubs compared to planters like whiskey berry planters. I can also control the pH level of the soil because I can customize the contents of the growing medium in the raised bed to make it suitable for plants like blueberries that thrive in acidic soil. The third reason is mainly aesthetics. I just love the consolidated and cleaner look of the berries placed in one raised bed instead of having multiple planters. To give you a short and simpler answer, I'm really just ready to take my blueberry game to the next level. This example is for blueberry plants, but if you're planning to upgrade your garden like I did today, I'll show you how to move your perennial plants from planters to a raised bed. Whether you want better soil conditions, more space, or just a fresh look for your garden, this transition can be a rewarding endeavor with the right approach. Before moving the blueberry plants to the raised bed, first things first, choose a sunny spot for your raised bed. Plants thrive in full or partial sunlight, so pick a location that receives adequate sunlight throughout the day. Be mindful of any obstructions like overhanging trees or structures that could shade your plants. As for my garden layout, I had to clear a space where I previously used as a container garden for my tomatoes. I think this space is great for growing the blueberries. Before moving anything, the first step I took is assembling the raised garden bed. I chose a 6-in-1 Vego Garden raised bed to grow 8 of my blueberries, but ideally, you'd want to give them a little more space than that. I think they'll do just fine with the space I've provided them though. Here are the steps I took to assemble the raised bed. I removed the plastic films that protected each panel in the shipment. I don't remove the films fully to reduce the risk of scratching the surface while assembling the raised bed. I aligned the holes and used the bolts and nuts to connect each piece. I start with 2 of the rounded panels as they can stand up on their own while the rest of the panels are being connected. To make it easier to connect, I start on the opposite end holes and connect the middle sections afterwards. I repeated this process until the rest of the panels were connected. Once everything was assembled, I tightened the connections with a socket wrench, removed the plastic film, and finished it up with the rubber edging to cover the sharp edges. To give your plants the best growing conditions, I enriched the soil with organic matter. I lay down a layer of cardboard at the bottom to suppress the weed growth. This eco-friendly barrier also helps retain moisture and encourages earthworm activity, which creates a healthier soil ecosystem. I mixed in leaves, vegetable scraps, coffee grounds, and compost to nourish the soil organisms and provide essential nutrients. This nutrient-rich environment will support vigorous plant growth and increase overall productivity. I filled the raised bed with soil, leaving enough space for the root system of the established plants. I used some of the spent soil from the previous season as well as the soil mixture with raised bed soil and compost. Aside from compost, I also added some slow-release fertilizer suitable for acid-loving plants to keep blueberries happy. Worm castings and azomite can also help improve the quality of the soil. These supplements improve soil fertility, structure, and pH level that can replenish essential nutrients and promote beneficial microbial activity. Here comes the delicate task of transplanting the well-established plants. It took some patience and careful handling to minimize the disturbance to the root systems. I loosened the soil around the roots and lift the plants from their containers, and I did my best to preserve as much of the root structure as possible. To minimize transplant shock, I transplanted the plants into the raised bed as soon as possible after removal from their container. I avoided exposing the roots to prolonged air or sunlight as this can stress the plants. I planted them at the same depth as they were in their original containers and gently formed the soil around the roots for
ensure stability. After transplanting, I water the plants thoroughly to settle the soil and hydrate the roots. I also mulch the soil as it is very helpful in retaining moisture and regulating temperatures. I monitor the moisture level closely in the days following the transplant. I ensure that the soil remains constantly moist but not waterlogged. A few days later, I worked on my DIY hoop system to cover the plants with a deer netting. I used a type of netting with holes big enough for bees to go through to pollinate the flowers, but small enough for the birds to go through. This season will be the test of this setup, but it's very promising. I'm really looking forward to having better blueberry production this year and beyond.
That's it. I hope this video gave you some ideas on how you can successfully transfer your well-established plants from planter to raised bed to set them up for continued growth and success. With proper planning, care, and attention to detail, you'll soon enjoy the bountiful rewards of your revitalized garden space. If this is helpful, please don't forget to give this a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel if you haven't yet. Until next time, happy gardening. Bye-bye.